You know what?
Is
We
we
kicked
live?
down. We is Lizav because we didn't kick down the forbidden door. And of course, it's just me and Casey this time. So there really was no forbidden door. There's no Juggernaut show peoples. There's nobody else from any other podcast on the show. But we still kicked down the forbidden door though, right? Still how it works, right?
No, no.
All right. But anyway, we're gonna talk about this AEW New Japan Forbidden Door 2023 pay-per-view. We're gonna give our thoughts. We're gonna listen to y'all's thoughts in the comments when y'all give them. And that's how this show gonna go. That's it. It's soon as like that. It's that simple. It's gonna go that simply, quick, fast, and then okay, I don't know about all that. But anyway, we're gonna talk about this Forbidden Door. Was it really forbidden?
I don't think so.
Was it a good show? Was it? Did we enjoy it? Did we? Will Justin make a surprise appearance? Who knows?
Probably
But you
not.
can find out all that stuff after you get your popcorn and your drink and come back with us. All right? We'll see y'all in a minute. You know who made it. All right, what is going on? Good people. DJ here, Casey over there. I'm the only one as part of the camera crew tonight, which is unfortunate because we can't see that upside down looking face of Casey. So unfortunate. So unfortunate.
You ain't pay enough for that.
That's for the premium subscriber.
that's the pay-per-view.
But we're gonna talk about it. So if I slowly fade to black, it's Casey's fault. I'm just gonna let y'all know. But we're gonna talk about this here Forbidden Door 2023 pay-per-view. I would read off the pre-show matches, but I struggled enough with some of the names on the pre-show anyway. So I ain't gonna do that.
It was bad.
Before we started, because Casey wanted to know them. So I ain't gonna do that. I'm just gonna let y'all look that up for y'all selves, and y'all can let me know what y'all think. I did see that TJP was on the pre-show, so that's pretty cool. I didn't even realize. I guess I don't even know what company he's with right now, to be honest. Because he came back to Impact for a little bit. I'm sure he's probably under AEW, considering how it looks, or probably Ring of Honor, I guess technically, which is literally the same at this point, but. That was interesting to see. It's just I don't know. I just find it weird sometimes because Brian Cage is on the pre-show, and I'm like, what are they doing with Brian Cage? What is there? Like, I mean, I know they have no plan for Brian Cage, but like, what are they doing with Brian Cage? Don't understand it. Don't get it. Just doesn't make sense. But from what I told you about the pre-show, did you enjoy the pre-show? Did you watch the pre-show? Oh yeah, you didn't watch the pre-show, did you?
I did not watch the pre-show because I didn't know what was on the pre-show. So,
anywho, let's get to the main show because that's what
I mean. There were 4 matches on the pre-show that should have been on the main show because a pre-show should have 1 or 2 matches.
That's true. There was a dark match and 4 pre-show matches. How crazy is that? But anyway, we started out
5 matches.
Yes, we started out with the AEW World Heavyweight Championship match, which was MJF and Hiroshi Tanahashi going at it, doing battle. I enjoyed this. I always like MJF's heel work. I always like what he does. He kind of comes off kind of old school to me when I watch him, and I like that about MJF. Like, him just kind of bashing New Japan, him making this a true competition and instead of a respect thing the whole night. I like that. It was interesting to see this match be the first one on the card. But I also feel like when you have a heel champion, or basically you feel like you have bigger matches on the card, I feel like the heel championship play up the fact that their match is first. I didn't hear anything about. He didn't say anything about this. He didn't mention anything about this. But it is kind of weird that to me it's weird to see a world title match come on first, and I know it's been one of those things that's been happening more and more as they introduce these multiple main events as they call them. Like it, but it also still is kind of weird, and I wish heels would feed into that a little bit more. I'm trying to get out of here. I know they mentioned that he has sent out scheduled a tweet or whatever saying the match will be over by then, but I just wish there was a little more mention of that, so it didn't feel like, why is the AEW World Championship match the first match on the card? I mean, at least let it be like middle of the pack or something. Like, sometimes I just don't really understand that because. Anyway, good match though. It was a good match. MJF won in the ways that I expected him to win. He used every heel tactic in the book that he had. But I mean, they did a good job of making it feel like MJF might not win. And I mean, not that I felt like any titles were really going to change hands on this show, because it's hard to have an AEW / Ring of Honor hosted show where you expect titles to change hands, especially the AEW branded titles. But I mean, any of the titles for that matter, I didn't feel like we're gonna change hands. But that was just me. I know we had one later on in the show, but still, I mean, that one kind of made sense that it would change hands since it was a New Japan title, and Kenny works in the States mostly. Anyway, what was your thoughts on the opening contest? And then, I mean, we can.
What was that? Your mic went out for a
So
second.
I was saying, what was your thoughts on the opening contest, but also like we can revisit that question I just had.
Oh.
Like after you give your thoughts.
9 out of 10 times I don't like when the world champion opens the show. And the reason for that is I'm kind of more old school with that, where like you build up to that, because that's what fans come to see. They want to come see the world champion defend their title, or lose their title, or their favorite wrestler win the world championship. And I think you should always have that as the main event to keep people in the seats. Keep them to the end of the show. I wasn't a huge fan of the main event in this show, but I think this should have been main event or semi-main.
So I got a question though while you're on there, because I'm thinking about it. You weren't a huge fan of the main event as the match happened, or the main event as the two people in the match, or the fact that it was the main event? I guess I don't know if I said that already.
Wait, hold on. What was the main event? I don't remember.
Okada and Danielson.
Oh, no, I was thinking of. I think it was semi-main. Was that the one with Jericho? Was Jericho?
Yeah, that was that was
okay.
right
That's the
before.
one I was thinking of that I was not a fan of. But I would rather have had that be either main, like the world championship be either main event or co-main. Because again, it's keeping people in the seats, guaranteeing they're going to stay in the seats to see the championship defended. But I did like this match. I think we're all huge fans of MJF, especially his heel work. I loved his robe that said New Japan is an indie on the back. That I feel like people don't do heel work like that. Just like the little things that are gonna get under people's skin, and MJF does that perfectly. But again, definitely a very good opening match. And I did like how he scheduled the tweet to go out. I think that was kind of a smart thing, kind of storytelling wise. But Yeah, definitely. It wasn't a bad opening match. I just, again, would rather have seen it be later on in the card to make people wait for it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, and kind of my original question too. Like, what do you think about this concept of a show? Like, I like this concept because it does kind of leave room for those like dream matches, those never before seen matches, those matches that you don't see very often. But at the same time, with so many titles being defended, I thought this show came off a little bit predictable. Even though the matches were good, I enjoyed a lot of the matches on this show. Uh, but sometimes it came off predictable because you know that the AEW champions are not going to lose their titles, and you know that for the most part the IWGP champions are not going to lose their titles.
I I I personally don't like the idea of the open door thing or the forbidden door thing because I'm going into it thinking about it logically from like a business perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, these two companies are working together. So how is that a forbidden door? Like forbidden door, when I think of forbidden door, I think of, you know, uh somebody going to work for a company that they don't work for against the permission of the company that they work for. Like that is
Mm-hmm.
a forbidden door to me. Like I I mean I get like the gimmick wise I get it, but it's like can we call it something else? Can we not go so heavy into like oh forbidden door? It's forbidden.
Yeah,
It's just like
I think
two
it.
companies are working together.
Yeah, I think Forbidden Door is something that probably should have died right after it came out. And the simple
Yeah,
reason is because, like, yes, when, for example, and this is just kind of the first company that I remember doing it where they hadn't done it in a while, like Impact or something like that, like they were they kind of started and it wasn't them necessarily starting it because I mean Ring of Honor was doing the same thing, but we knew Ring of Honor had an open partnership with
right.
New Japan, whereas for Impact we didn't necessarily know about the partnerships. It wasn't out there cut and dried. They had this partnership with before they started announcing them, of course. Like I think at first it was a cool concept of saying like, oh, it's the forbidden door because WWE wasn't doing it. Because other wrestling, really, it's kind of a shot at WWE, I guess, more than anything, right? Because every other independent company works with other companies, right? Every other wrestling company works with other wrestling companies. Wrestlers work on different shows. WWE was like the only ones that made it almost this like forbidden thing that you don't do. Um,
Right.
so I mean, I think now even still, like it almost comes off as a shot to WWE, which I guess for the hardcore AEW fans who hate WWE, it's probably a cool gimmicky thing. I think for some of us other fans, we're kind of like, this is silly because we know you guys are working together. It's just interesting. But I mean, yeah,
I'm
I mean, I don't know. I think the Forbidden Door thing should have died probably where it started, and I think that's because like we we kind of know too much at this point. It's not forbidden anymore. It was forbidden at first because it was not
well
seen as often. Now it's seen all the time.
and kind of off topic, but sort of on the same topic. But I'm just so sick and tired, and this is part of why I can't stomach watching AEW all the time, is because of all of the obnoxious jabs at WWE all the time. It's like, guys, you've been a company for what 3 4 years now. Like, get over it. Stop trying to jab. Like, it's not cool. It's not edgy anymore. Like, WWE doesn't even care. It's not like you're like jabbing, poking jabs at WWE, and they're like, "Oh my God, did you see what AEW did?" No, they're like, "Who AE who? What is A who what? Huh? Oh, the tag team that kind of looked like the Hardy Boys in '96. Oh, those guys. That's what WWE thinks of you. Like, I'm sorry. Like, and again, I do like a lot of the guys on the AEW roster, and I want them to do well. But I'm so tired of the constant. Oh, WWE never gave us a shot. Blah blah blah. So we're gonna build a whole company and all we're gonna do is jab WWE and blah blah blah. It's like, guys, move on. Like,
Yeah, I
focus on your
I
company.
agree. I agree, and another thing I think that frustrates me is, can we stop with the constant, oh, there's empty seats in this arena stuff, like that back and forth stuff frustrates me
Yes.
too, because it's just like, number one, the person taking the picture paid money to have a ticket to be there,
Right.
right? No, number two, like, who cares, right? You don't see basketball fans going to a basketball game being like, well, the upper deck is still empty. I tell you, like, no, like, why? Who cares, right? You go to enjoy the show, and that's what you do. If you don't like AEW, you don't go to the darn show. If you don't like WWE, don't go to the darn show. That's, I don't really understand why people, why that's still a thing. Like, at first, okay, oh, they're using seat fillers, ha ha ha, right? Like, okay, but like, it's, after a while it just gets kind of old, but that's just,
But like every wrestling company at some point uses seat fillers.
mhm.
Like independent companies use seat fillers. Like they'll I've been on countless shows where after our match or something, the promoter or somebody will say, "Hey guys, can you go sit out in some of the seats just to make it look, more full?"
Yeah,
Like it's just what they do to make it look good on TV,
right.
especially if you're like recording the show. Um, but back to the titles, I feel like it would have been less predictable if more of these AEW guys were going like traveling over to Japan. You know what I mean? Like, because New Japan guys, they're obviously coming over to the States to work these shows, or Canada, because I think this was in Canada. But if more of them were, traveling overseas, then it would be more believable because, okay, say, so and so wins the, uh, one of the AEW titles and takes it over to New Japan, defends it over there, and then, an AEW star goes over to Japan and wins it back. Then I would be like, okay, maybe some of these titles are gonna change hands, but I don't think enough of the roster like travels the world yet, or at least like goes over to New Japan.
Yeah. um Moving on into the show, we had CM Punk versus Kojima in the men's Owen Hart Cup tournament first round match. um I like that they're still doing the Owen Hart Cup. I think that's cool. Um, it is cool to see New Japan guys in it. Honestly, I'd like to see a New Japan guy win it and just kind of take it a little bit more worldwide, or with, take it back to Japan, show it off a little bit, kind of make it even more of a big deal than it already is, or AEW wants to make it into, like, just continue to build its brand. But this was good. I liked it. I feel like Punk did a good job in this match. I feel like Kojima did a good job in this match. I like this because Kojima's an older guy and Punk's an older guy, so like they can kind of work similar styles to a certain degree. Like that, Punk doesn't have to feel like he has to do something that he shouldn't be doing at the age that he is, or after a long hiatus or anything like that. He can kind of work his style, and I think that's why this match worked. Was because of the age similarities in this match too. And I thought this was good. I like what I love about Punk is his ability to adjust to the crowd, right? Like, and you could tell, he's a face, but he's in Canada, right? He's in Canada where Kenny Omega's from. And they're gonna boo him. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of fans of him, of course, but there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna boo him because of the backstage stuff with that, with everything with that too. So if they don't, number one, not necessarily to this match, but to future matches, if they don't book a Kenny Omega, at least a series of 3 matches with Omega and Punk, I'm gonna be quite hurt by it. And if one of them's not in Canada and one of them's not in Chicago, I'm going to be even more hurt by it. I think those 2 matches have to happen just for the,
Isn't
crowd reaction.
isn't like every third AEW show in Chicago?
Yes, yes. But I thought this was good, and I like. It was interesting to see like even the GTS at the end. The like I thought he was gonna kick out of that, but he took it so stiff. Like it looked really good. So I could like I was part of me was like, oh, he's gonna kick out of that because he didn't take it like people would normally would, but he took it kind of stiff where he just like crumbled to the ground. And but I thought it was good. Um, I like Punk playing with the fans. I thought that was good. That's like I said before. That's what I like about Punk. He can work a crowd. He knows when to be face Punk. He knows when to be heel Punk, right? And he's got enough experience to know those type of things. And him playing with the fact that hey, I am a heel in this match and being kind of obnoxious in this match was good too. I enjoyed it. What was your thoughts, Casey?
Thought it was crisp, no
No,
botching. But no, it was definitely a good match. I one thing I will give credit for, and this isn't necessarily about the match, but commentary. I know we kind of complain about AEW commentary all the time, but I feel like, especially in this match, they gave enough input and like explained who, Kojima was and like their histories and stuff like that. Because I really didn't know too much about him. So almost made you want to go and like watch more of his stuff from throughout his career, because I think they said he's like a 30 some year veteran or something. um so I definitely like that they do that. There are some things that still get annoying with them, but they did good in like explaining who these people were if you aren't familiar with New Japan. But again, great match. Two guys that know, it's. I feel like it's an overused cliche, but like two ring generals that know how to control the crowd, know how to work the crowd. Um, didn't do too much that didn't need to be done. They just worked the match that they needed to work. Um, but I definitely enjoyed it.
Alrighty. Next was the four-way match for the AEW International Championship. Um, the champion Orange Cassidy versus Zack Sabre Jr. versus Shibata and Daniel Garcia.
I'm sorry, who was in this match?
Oh, sorry. Orange Cassidy, Zack Sabre Jr., Kasayori Shibata, and Daniel Garcia. Better.
That's right.
uh, I honestly, and I still want to kind of lean on this take that I have because a friend of mine he texted me. He said, "Omega and Will Ospreay." I'll have to. I want to read the actual text. Give me a second. Because he had high praise for that match. So so going into it, I had high expectations. Let me see real quick. Let me see what he say. What did he say? Bro, that Omega Osprey match was one of the best of all time. Now, we're not on that match yet, so I'm saying that for a reason. This match I thought was honestly the match of the night. I did. I enjoyed this match. I think more than some of the other matches that throughout the night. Like, I mean, I enjoyed some of these other matches that are on the card that we'll talk about here in a minute. But this one, I thought everybody looked good. Everybody shined in the ways that they were supposed to. Orange Cassidy looked good. Zack Sabre Jr. and Shibata stuff together was amazing. But it felt like, it just felt like Sabre and Shibata just they kind of just fit well with everybody. They were the perfect puzzle piece for every single situation, and I think it made for a really good match. Like, I felt like this could have been like a world title match. It was so good. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. The transition to submissions. We know how Zack Sabre gets down, right? Like, just I just enjoyed it. I really did. Orange Cassidy kind of stealing the win at the end. Um, was a little heelish, but people love him so much that it doesn't really, it doesn't really matter. But I thought the second match was excellent. I like this was probably my favorite match of the night. Casey, what was your thoughts? I'll repeat that text one more time when we get to that match.
Okay. So I said something last night when I was watching this show, and I stand by it. I stand by what I said. I love Orange Cassidy. I do. I think Orange Cassidy is fantastic. One of my favorite gimmicks of all time, and I think he's a phenomenal worker as well. With that said, I was watching this match, finding myself thinking, man, I kind of wish that Orange Cassidy and Daniel Garcia were not in this match. I was wishing it was just Zack Sabre Jr. and Shibata because and I think I posted this on like Facebook or something, but I was like, I could seriously watch Zack Sabre Jr. and Shibata work every night and never get bored of it because all of the things that they can do, whether it's submission work, whether it's just beating the hell out of each other and making it look real. Um, it was so good. I mean, not to say that Daniel Garcia and Orange were bad in this match because they weren't. They were great. I don't know too much about Daniel Garcia. I haven't really watched too much of his matches. But they were good. I just kind of was like, man, I kind of just want to see Zack Sabre Jr. and Shibata go at it, But phenomenal match. Again, I didn't expect Orange to lose, but I liked it. I thought it was, everything they did made sense. It was good. Yeah.
Alrighty. So the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match: Jungle Boy Jack Perry versus Sonata. Jack Perry with Hook. Sonata with Dookie. I don't know his name. Anyway, another match I thought was really good. Everybody knows if you've watched this show for long enough, I love Sonata, one of my favorites. I was excited to see him. I'm glad he's IWGP World Champion. I watched his match with Okada when he won the title. I may not watch a lot of New Japan, but when Sonata's on my screen, I'm going to watch it. When Sonata has a big moment, I'm going to be there for it. He might not ever know how much I love this man, but it don't really matter. But I just still one of my favorites. I was excited to see him against Jungle Boy. I like Jungle Boy so much. I really do. I really do like him, but I just don't see him as a world champion. I just don't. As good as he is, right? I think he's really good. I think he's lovable. I guess we'll see how hateable he is after the aftermath of this match, but just he does good work. I like him a lot, and I thought he worked well with Sonata because Sonata's a little smaller too. He's not Jungle Boy small, but he's a leaner guy, and I mean I thought it was excellent. I thought their styles kind of meshed together, even though they do different things. I think they kind of leaned into the other person's style as they needed to do. But I mean, I liked it. I'm glad Sonata won. I'm not necessarily surprised Sonata won. It'll be interesting to see though what they do with this Jack Perry Hook thing because they were kind of a tag team, and maybe Taz was hinting at he was actually hinting at Hook being a little upset about Jungle Boy having these world title shots, but in actuality, it was Jack Perry who was mad at Hook for something. Anyway, regardless, after the match, he turned on Hook. And Taz, it was kind of weird because Taz decided to hold himself right? Like he decided to like not get involved. Like he's a grown man. He's fine. He gonna get him back, whatever. But then after it was all said and done, he got up anyway.
We
So
got
by
some
that logic,
technical.
why didn't they? Huh?
Oh, we were having some technical difficulties there.
Oh, sorry. But I don't know. But like by that logic, why didn't he just get up in the first place? If he was going to get up and not be on commentary for the rest of the night, they might as well had him check on his son. We know that's his son. He's been in this group, literally. Like I just it's kind of weird, and it'd be interesting to see if they do something around the FCW title or something, maybe, because that seems like what Jungle Boy even though he threw it back at him or whatever. But I don't know. What was your thoughts on the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match and the aftermath of said match?
I didn't watch this match because Okada was in it, and you like him.
You mean
So,
Sonata? Get it right now.
or sorry, Sonata. My bad. My bad. That's how much I
Oh,
don't care.
that's probably why you didn't like the main event, because Okada was in it and I like him too.
Uh, yeah. That's exactly. I didn't watch it because you like the Sonatas. Um, no, I saw bits and pieces of it. I saw some nice hard choppy chops. That was good. That was good. And then Jungle Boy turns heel. Didn't he already do that at a convention a couple of weeks back? Just saying. Just people already hate him, so it's okay.
Oh, is that why he turned? I thought people liked him. I thought
You
people were
didn't
like behind him or whatever. Like I thought they thought he was
you didn't hear
well.
about the drama at the convention in the UK where like people were like he saying that he was being a dick.
Oh no, I didn't.
Yeah. He was at a convention over in the UK and everyone was saying that he was being a dick.
Oh
So
well. Well,
yeah.
well, there that goes. It'll be interesting to see what how that goes. But the 10-man tag match. Let me announce who's in it, and then we can move on. The Elite, Hangman Page, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson with Eddie Kingston and Tomohiro Ishii. Is it Ishii or Ishii? Because they say Ishii now. And I could swear for my whole life that I've been hating this man. Don't hate him as much anymore. But I can swear for my whole life I've been calling him Ishii. Ishii. With a
I
little.
mean, I think both are right. I think both are accurate.
Um, and then they were going up against the Blackpool Combat Club of John Moxley, Willie Yuta, Claudio Castagnoli or Casaroli, with Konosuke Takashita and Shata Umano. Anyway, I'm gonna just stop. The Japanese name is too hard. I don't understand how that announcer be saying them with all that oomph behind it, because I can't say them at all. This was, this was AEW's typical match that I turn off every time. I did watch this one. I didn't want to. Like when I tell you, I literally, when I see a 8 to 10 man tag match, I want to turn the TV off. Like I'm not playing. Like I don't want to watch these matches because they do them all the time. Why you couldn't break this up into a 6-man tag and a regular tag, I'll never know. But anyway, don't really make no sense. I know they tried to do the little, Eddie Kingston didn't want to hit John Moxley type thing, but I feel like eventually John Moxley's just gonna completely turn on Eddie Kingston, and that's probably gonna be a feud within itself. But we'll see, because he's just coming back. We'll see how fast they work him in. But the Elite won this match with Eddie Kingston and Ishii, and Kingston was not a happy camper after the fact. But Casey, what was your thoughts?
I thought this was another multi-man match, and it was a good bathroom break.
That was a long
I,
bathroom break. Yeah,
Dude,
had to do the number 2.
I'm so tired of multi-man matches just in general, not even just in AEW, in wrestling in general. It's just a way to try to get as many people on the card as possible, and it gets annoying. Also, I got really excited when Ishii came out, and then I realized because I had fast forwarded a little bit, and I stopped it right when he was coming out. I was like, oh, I didn't know Ishii had a match, and then I saw that it was a 10-man, and I was like, oh, he couldn't have just
Yeah,
had a match.
you saw it wasn't his match against Samoa Joe last year.
Exactly. I was like, why, why this man can't just have 1-on-1? Let him kill somebody.
um, then we have the AEW Women's World Championship match: Willow Nightingale versus Tony Storm with Ruby Soho and Soraya. I mean, I thought this match was fine. It was good. I like Willow Nightingale a lot. Did not expect her to win this match, but she does have a victory over Mercedes Monet, so that means she's doing well. But I mean, I don't know. Good. I mean, it was good, right? Tony advanced. Tony survived. I didn't expect anything less than Tony surviving this match. Did you have any thoughts?
Nope, didn't watch it.
All right. You're getting into Justin territory now. Then we had the IWGP United States Championship match. It was every nickname in the book, Kenny Omega, going up against Will Ospreay. And let me see. I repeat, friend of mine, casual wrestling fan, by the way, said, and I quote, bro, that Omega Ospreay match was one of the best of all time. This match went almost 40 minutes. This match was fine. Don't get me wrong. It was a good match. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. They have, of course, they have a history. There's a story behind it. Ospreay, I think, did a good job with his heel work, especially with some of the cheap stuff at the beginning with the Canadian flag and stuff like that. The incorporation of the blood, I think, was fine in this match because it plays into the story of previously bleeding before. I think, to me, for whatever reason, I don't know what it was, I felt like this match started slow. I felt like this was one of those matches where once it got going, I was like, okay, I like that, I'm into this now. But it started kind of slow. Don Callis' involvement, I thought, was good. It's weird because I don't know why. I don't know if Don Callis is just aligning with every rival of Kenny, or is he just kind of just floating around, or is he really with Will Ospreay or whatever? I don't really know. But I mean, I thought this was good. I thought Kenny was going to win just because that's what Kenny does in these matches. Kind of what he does throughout AEW. He wins. That's what he does. But he didn't. I don't know what I want to like Kenny, but like Kenny just comes off so much more as a heel to me. I don't know what it is. I don't think I've said it before. He can't talk. To me, I don't think he's a great talker, but I think him as a heel is just far better. I like to see. I like to have a desire for him to get beat more than I do to see him win. But anyway, Ospreay won this match, and I mean, I thought, it was really good. I enjoyed the match. I don't know if it was one of the best of all time per se. I think they've had better matches. But I will say this was a good match. I liked it. I like Ospreay a lot. Don't get to see him very often, but it is cool to see him when I do see him. For some reason his style feels different now. I don't know if it is. I don't know if you can attest to that because you've watched a little more than I have of Ospreay, but his style feels different now. He's not the same guy I watched against Ricochet years and years back. So I mean, I know it's been practically a decade by now, I think. But anyway, what was your thoughts on the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship match?
So,
One of the best of all time, you may say?
this may come as a shock to you and to other
It
people.
won't. It won't, I'm sure.
But this weird thing happens where people get older and they can't do things that they could do years ago.
Mhm.
But no, I was watching an interview with Will Ospreay where he was talking about how like he doesn't do some of the stuff that he used to be able to do just because he can't. and you could see he's actually like he's bulked up over the years. Like he's a
Yeah,
lot bigger than he used to be.
yeah.
So he was talking about how like all the springboards he used to do he can't do anymore just because he's gained so much more muscle. It's
I
hard to
mean, I
get
like
over.
honestly, I kind of like his style more now than I
Right.
did before.
Yeah. I think before, and again, I love the Will Ospreay Ricochet match, but at the same time, it was flippy shit just for flippy shit. Like it was just to get a pop out of the crowd. Um, and which is fun, but there's no psychology. Um, and I do love Will Ospreay, but at the same time, his opponent uh said that he doesn't understand the point of pro wrestling training, and after that, I
Do
can't.
you think he really doesn't though? Like, I'm gonna fight you on this to the end because I mean, I feel like you can say a lot of things. Like, plenty of basketball players hate fundamentals. That doesn't mean they don't do them; they just hate them. Um,
Yeah, but like in a sport like professional wrestling, where like you are literally, the safety of your opponent is literally in your hands.
mhm.
You don't say something like that to young aspiring professional wrestlers, because then they're going to be like, "Oh, so I don't have to go to training. I don't have to learn how to do all this stuff. I don't have to
I'll
learn how
give
to
you that.
work safe." That's my issue.
I'll give you that because it's weird though because like I think I had some resentment for Kenny for that, but also there was a part of it just like with the ego of it, the ego of him in general. Um, but I think at the same time, like I mean, I like the flow of this match and the psychology that was presented in this match. Even to the very end with him still reaching for the belt, even though it's done, it's done, son. That's it, bruh. It's over. Like you done. That's it for tonight. Next time, maybe. You know. But I so you wouldn't say it was one of the best of all time ever in the history of
No,
life. Okay,
no.
just curious, just started out there, seeing what you thought. Okay, the 6-man tag team match, the match that led up to the main event, which was Sting, Darby Allin, and Naito going up against the Suzuki, the Suzuki gods. Uh, sorry, Lay Suzuki gods. Why does Jericho must do this? Why he must do this with everything? Like if he joined the podcast, he would make us the Lay Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast of Jericho. Like why? Why he gotta do anyway? Um, it was Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and Suzuki. Um, this match was completely fine. Good. I mean, I liked it. Honestly, I expected a little less from this match. But I mean, I thought it was fine. It was another 6-man tag match, probably because Jericho's too old at this point to try to work one-on-one matches, but he wants to keep working, I guess. But I mean, it was fine. It was fine. Sting, Darby, and Naito won. It was kind of cool to see Sting with the Joker paint on. That was kind of cool to see again. But Casey, thoughts before we get into the main event of the evening?
I hate the Joker paint, and I hate multi-man matches.
Okay, let's get to a not so multi-man match. We had just a regular singles match. As the main event, it was Kazuchika Okada versus Bryan Danielson. They were saying something else, not Kazuchika, because that's what I've been saying my entire life. See, they just be making up names. They be making up names, okay? People been saying Kazuchika for 2 decades.
His
And
name is Kazuchika.
you know what I mean? I can't say it because you know what I mean, man. They were saying something completely off though. Like it was completely off. Like I don't know. I don't remember what they were saying, but it won't no Kazushka or Gazush. It won't nothing that. Anyway, a name I can say, Bryan Danielson. This one right here now. I tell y'all what now. This one I liked. This one I like. Now I do love Okada. That's my boy right there. That's my that like as the my boy club comes back, that's my boy right there. Okay, that's my boy. He just is. Um, I was so sad when he lost his match because somebody on Facebook talking about some. I can't believe Okada tapped. I'm like, no. So I'm gonna tell y'all a little quick story, real quick. When I see something on Facebook wrestling related and I ain't watched the show yet, this is what I do. No, 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 no. That didn't really happen. That like that literally like that's me. Like
No,
I
that didn't
literally,
really
I'm
happen.
like, nope, didn't happen. They was joking. They was saying that because that's how they wanted it to play out, but it didn't really play out that way. And then when I watched the match and it played out that way, I'm like, wait a minute now. But anyway, this match was good. I like I said, I like the work that both of these guys do. I think you put them together, it's a match made in heaven. I mean, Danielson I'm loving his heel work, but he was like respectful heel. I feel like in this match, he was it wasn't like what we used to what we are usually seeing from like Blackpool Combat Club type stuff. But I mean, but he was kind of a little arrogant to like, hey, you're not better than me, Okada. It don't really matter. Like, you're not better than me. But I will say, like, this match was really good. Um, Okada and Danielson with the trading those submissions and stuff like that, trying to fight off the Rainmaker, that type of thing. I mean, I thought it was good. It didn't go too long. It didn't feel like it went too long. At least, like I felt like Kenny and Osprey's match, it almost felt like it went a little too long because like there was times they could have perfectly finished the match and they didn't. But there was some like false finishes. Speaking of that match, there was some false finishes in that match that were really good. Same thing with this one. I thought. I mean, I loved it. I thought it was good. Danielson won the match. They're sending Okada back to Japan. But nonetheless, excellent match. Casey, what was your thoughts on the main event of the evening? It also was funny that there was money literally everywhere, and I mean, like I think there was money like in my office today or something. Like it was crazy.
I don't like this Okada guy. I don't see the hype. I don't get it. I don't understand it.
What?
But that Brian Danielson guy, that I think he's gonna be a star someday. I think he's got potential.
I think he might have an award named after him one day or something like that.
Man, he might. If he gets out of this combat club, you know, I think he's got some potential. He's a good little athlete right there. He's a good little worker, as Adam would say. Uh, you said all of the things already. So like,
I
I
tried
don't
not
want
to
to be
say much
like
to leave you
I don't
room
want to
to
be
say
like
anything.
Justin and repeat everything you just said.
Alrighty. Well, any final thoughts on AEW? Why do I want to say Fight Forever? AEW Forbidden Door.
It was a door, but
that
it
we
was
could
not forbidden.
that we couldn't go through. That's what it was. But
I,
definitely.
a lot of people went through it. They had a
um,
bunch of multi-man matches, so a lot of people went through that door.
but as always, definitely hope you guys enjoyed the show. You always know that you can watch or listen to the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always, and I mean always, an instant classic. If you want to listen to it, Spotify, Apple Podcast, there ain't no more Ankle Podcast. But one day, I'm gonna create it. It's gonna just be a picture of somebody's ankle on there. But
So,
YouTube,
so why don't you
Facebook,
just make
Twitter,
it?
I could, but you know we, it's in the works. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. If you want to watch the show, but definitely hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you guys on the next one. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. If you're on Facebook, hit that like button. If you're on Twitter, go over to YouTube and do something else. Like hit the subscribe button or something, or retweet it. You can do that. But anyway, as always, definitely hope you guys enjoyed. This has been the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always, and I mean always, and Casey means always, and
You
everybody
already
else who
said
didn't
that.
show up today means always. And Instant
You
Classic.
already,
No,
you
I
already said
didn't.
that.
No, I didn't.
You did. You said
An
that.
Instant Classic.